One thing that happens when we pray is our heart becomes more sensitive and open to what God is doing and to other people who need God. So during our whole One Pray series, we're also going to give you the opportunity to support one of our mission endeavors as we send a bunch of teenagers down to Honduras this summer. So you'll see some baskets over here, and we encourage you today and even the next few weeks to just, if you feel impressed by God, just help contribute to what they're doing to help bring the good news to people just like you and me in a different culture in Central America. And as we kind of kick this series off, I asked myself this question. If you don't have much of a prayer life, how do you get one? I think that's a good question. And if you find yourself this morning going, you know what? I really don't have much of a prayer life. And if prayer is really the key to growth and change and the movement of God in powerful ways, how do you get a prayer life? I am an expert in how not to get one. Let me share with you all the mistakes I made. These were my past strategies. One is, whoa! Okay, God, so I'm a little slow this morning. Is that how you have to speed me up? Can we back it up quickly? And I'm going to let you control it, Mike, all right? Because it's doing that funky thing again. Please just back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Okay, back it up one more. Cool. Okay, now, forward one. Yeah. See, you didn't know it, but I was actually praying in my head just then. Here's the first bad way to really get a prayer life. Discipline. Oh, that seems like the right answer, doesn't it? You get sheer willpower. I am going to have a prayer life. I'm going to take out my palm and I'm going to put right in there at such and such a time, I am going to pray. That's my appointment with God. Nobody's going to mess it. I am going to spend time in prayer. That works great for me for 5 days. And then as things happen, it gets crowded out, and then I feel horrible, I didn't have the discipline, and I just found in my life, discipline has been a horrible tactic for really getting a prayer life. Here's another thing I found out that hasn't worked, and that is accountability. You know, accountability is where you basically invite other people into your life so that they can shame you if you don't do something. Or at least that's how it feels. And I have had accountability partners, oh man, I need to pray, I should pray at least, 5 hours a week or whatever. I'm a pastor, 20 hours a week. You hold me accountable so they see me, and it's like, okay, how was your prayer life this week? Good. How much did you pray? Then tough choice. Lie, shame, lie, shame, lie, shame. And what I have found is it's just hard. It's just like the accountability thing never seemed to work to actually get me a prayer life that mattered. Here's another thing I've tried that didn't work, paraphernalia. Oh, I love getting prayer. Buy a prayer journal. See, now I got $20 invested in prayer. Gotta pray. $20. Or prayer lists, or prayer strategies. How to pray through the Lord's Prayer. I mean, great stuff. And I've tried them all, and they work for a little bit, and then my prayer life just goes, right in the dumps again. And it's like, what is wrong with me that none of these things work? And then here's what hit me. By the way, none of these are bad. They're all good. I'm for discipline. I'm for accountability. And buying prayer paraphernalia, fine. But you know why these didn't work for me? Next slide. It's because these deals would have to, not want to. Do I have to pray? Oh, I gotta pray. I don't need to pray. I have to pray. So I'm going to be disciplined because I have to do it. I just don't like it. Oh, would you help me? Would you help me make something that I really don't want to do? Or that I want to do a little bit, but a lot of times I don't. And times I want to do it, I can't do it. And then when it's time to actually do it, I don't want to do it, whatever. They deal with have-tos, not want-to. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Jesus said some really powerful things that indicated really pretty clearly that if you really want a prayer life, it has to be a want-to kind of deal, not a have to kind of deal. Hey, who do you converse with better? People you have to talk to or people you wanted to talk to? Jesus said something really fascinating about prayer. It's found in the 5th chapter of Matthew's Gospel. And I'm thinking, he's leading into the Lord's Prayer. You know, our Father, who is in heaven, praise, hallowed be your name. He's leading into that. But he's talking a little bit about prayer first. And he says this, he says, and when you pray, irritating thing number one, not if you pray, when, like Jesus expects it. You following me, you're going to pray, right? Yeah. Well, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites. For they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by men. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. They impress people, hope they enjoyed it. That's all they'll ever get out of a prayer life. But when you pray, there it is again, when you pray, because surely if you follow me, you're going to do this. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who sees what is done in secret, and he will reward you. And when you pray, again, same deal, do not keep on babbling like the pagans, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. So this is how you should pray. Our Father who is in heaven. Hey, the big flowery impressive prayers, they don't really cut it with God. The rambling on and on and on and on and on and on, they don't really cut it with God. That doesn't work. Just kind of get alone. And then Jesus said, pray to your Father. The word that Jesus used when he said Father was the word Abba. That's right, Jesus used a 1970s disco group to refer to God. Abba. He said, but when you pray, talk to your Abba. And say, our Abba. And this had to blow the minds of the Jewish young men that were surrounding him when Jesus was giving these words. Because the word Abba was a very unique word. It was an informal word. It was a tender, affectionate word that scholars tell us would be best translated Daddy. Papa. And Jesus was really saying, when you pray, just go, pray to your Daddy in heaven. Pray to Papa, your heavenly Papa. And the reason this blew the minds of these Jewish people that heard them is that their view of God, the Father, was that he was distant and he was to be feared and you could never really get close to him. I mean, these were people that if they were writing and they had to write the word God, they would stop. They would go take a bath, change clothes, get new ink, a new quill, and then write the word God. And every time they wrote it, that's how they did it. Because God was like holy and distant, and you want to tick him off by like having a little BO or using dirty ink. These were the people that when their nation was being founded, God was meeting with this Moses guy up on a mountain, and if anybody just touched the base of the mountain, they would die because God was like powerful and big and scary. These were people that if you wanted to actually like approach God, you had to go through an intermediary. You had to go to a priest because you couldn't get to God. He had a direct line. And that was their view of God, kind of cold and distant and a good provider, and you'll take care of me, but you don't cross the line because you could get smacked. And here's Jesus going, hey, when you pray, just go talk to your daddy in secret. What? Lightning gonna strike?